Are you ready out there? Is everybody ready? You might be saying, where is Jeff Kravitz? Well, here I am coming to you live Thursday, 420 live. If you need to check your clock, then you don't know who I am or what I'm doing, but it's 4:20 p.m. Getting the light right, dialing it in today for another adventure into Kravitz land. Every day, Monday to Friday, 4:20 p.m., we come into the den of iniquity and talk just about, I don't think there's anything that's off limits here. And today, our guest, Farmer Dave Scher, has been a, underground legend amongst the scene. And I'm really looking forward. He's a very colorful character. He's got a crazy, interesting story and has some new music out. I'm really looking forward to talking to Farmer Dave. And I want to tell you, tomorrow we're going to be visiting my friend artist Pascal Giacomini. He is a local Los Angeles-based artist that works in metal, and he has built a piece of work called the Queen's Band. And I'm going to take my friend Ben Spivak from Magic, who's been on the show before. He's a bass player, and we're going to have a drummer, and we're going to go over there, and we're going to play this piece of art live on the show tomorrow. So a little jam session going tomorrow. And, we've had a hell of a week this week. If you tuned in earlier in the week, we talked yesterday. It was about that debate, the mass debate. I guess there's no other way to call that debate, the mass debate that we saw the other night on television, which is a bunch of stroking. They were stroking it hard. And I love the mute the mic speech going on right now. I know we're all on it. And, I don't want to talk about politics. I come here to distract, so I'm not going to spend every day drilling down the fact that we need to change our government. I think people are now voting. They know. The most important thing I wanted to tell you was that you have until Saturday of this week to make sure that you're registered to vote and register. So if you're not registered, you can register to vote. Head count. David Dobrik gave away the 5 Teslas yesterday on Head Counter. I don't know if he's giving them away yet, or you can still sign up. He signed over 100,000 people in 24 hours for Head Count, which is absolutely incredible. That was their 2016 goal, was 100,000 people. This year they had a goal of 200,000, and in a matter of 24 hours, this kid brought it up another 50%. So I don't know if you've been watching what's happening out there with the vote and the people signing up and registering to vote, but it's all on us to, pick our leaders and understand what we're doing. So I think it's important we educate ourselves. And there's a lot of different things on the ballot you got to look at and make sure you educate yourself all up and down the ballot, not just at the highest office. And, I've been getting in arguments with people about that third party candidate and not wasting your vote and what that means. And, you really have to consider what's at stake in this election. And I know everybody wants to make their point across with their vote. Like people, I'm going to make a point. I'm not going to vote for Trump, but I'm not going to vote for Biden either. And I don't think that that's an acceptable answer right now. Anyway, I digress. I am here for distraction. I am here to take you away like Calgon. We're going to take you away from everything that's going on out there and how our life is so warped. And, I find guests for the show through every nook and cranny of my life. And, I've aligned myself with different people that have been really great for getting into different industries. And Kevin Calabro from Calabro Music has been amazing at hooking me up with different people, Nicole Atkins. And I'm on his list. So I get all his emails, and I got an email saying Farmer Dave Scher had new music out. And my friend Michelle August years ago turned me on to Farmer Dave. At 2009, his record came out, his solo record. And I hadn't really heard much from Farmer Dave for the past decade. And then all of a sudden, I got the press release saying he had new music out and he'd been in Peru with medicinal plants. And I'm like, this is the kind of guy that is perfect for 420 Live. So Farmer Dave has had an interesting career. He's played with many different bands besides himself. Has been involved with the Brotherhood, CRB Brotherhood, and I'm happy to have him today at 420 Live. Hi, Dave. How are you?
Hello, 420 Live.
Yeah.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, not that great.
Is this Kravitz land?
Yeah, you're in Kravitz land now.
Kravitz land?
Yeah, my last name's Kravitz, so.
Wonderful.
Dave.
Great to see you, everybody.
Good to see you. Tell us, how are you?
Dude, dudettes. Just came from the desert show with Chris Robinson, Alex Coford, Barry Sless, Camilla Softly, Ben Knight, Brent Rademacher, Los Hermanos Cosmico. A nice project. We just did 2 nights in Yucca Valley, Pioneer Town.
Oh, Joshua
Under the
Tree.
moon, full moon action. Yeah, beautiful scene. Just got back into civilization this afternoon.
And that was all outdoors, I guess. They have an outside stage there.
Yes.
How many people?
Super outdoors. It was limited, they had to sell very few tickets, and then, it costs more to go. But at this point, it's like to play show at all or to attend one is a seriously luxurious item, and we're all hanging in there together. I'm sure, that there will be streams and availability to watch and hear this stuff in the coming days and weeks. I know that we all need to be together, especially everyone in Kravitz land who loves music, albums, shows. It's a way of life. It's in our blood, and so we adapt. We all have to adapt.
So I want to back up a little bit. In 2009, I got a hold of your solo record. And where you been for 11 years?
It was a good amount of time, Jeff, and it was well used. And sometimes you got to go low to get high. Sometimes you got to get up to get down. And I had a really good way of life around the turn of the last decade into 2012. Beautiful friends, beautiful concerts, a lot of waves, a lot of surfing, just living a really high level cosmic freak lifestyle that was well suited and, not a harmful way to live against anybody else. But, the party train, eventually it just wiped out a little bit. I had a relationship breakup, and that vacuum couldn't be filled with my normal bag of tricks. And fairly quickly, the opportunity came to go to the Amazon rainforest, and I was ready. I took a month and cleared out and ate a mindful diet and just went down there ready for whatever I could receive and participate in. And I was not regretful, and I'm still not regretful for those choices.
So what year was that? Was that in 2012 that you went down to the Peru?
Hello?
Was that in 2012? Dave, can you hear me?
I think we have the audio stopped.
Oh, you might have hit something.
What can I do? I'm trying to move around. I don't hear you.
Well, try it again. Dial it in. Oh, wait. Why do you disconnect the headphones? Shut them off. Yeah, try that.
Dang it.
Is that better?
Hello.
Hi. How you doing?
Did that work? You, but I don't have any audio.
Why don't you shut off that Bluetooth and see if that helps?
You want to text me quick?
You know what? Why don't you hang up and then call back in? Okay. All right. I'm going to kick Dave from the studio, and he's going to come back, and he'll be back in a minute. We're dealing with cosmic Farmer Dave Scher. I mean, you get the vibe of this guy. He's very, very real, and I love where we're going. So I'm looking forward to digging into this, and he needs to hear me because, you could hear us both, huh? Yeah, I think if he takes those headphones out, it'll be better, Jim, with a little bit of volume. So thank you, Audrey. We're working on this. We are working on this, and Dave's. Oh wait, here he goes. Hey, Dave. No problem. What I would do is call back in without the headphones in, because they're saying they could both hear us both online. All right, and see how that works. And maybe shut off that Bluetooth too. And make sure turn up your volume on the side of your phone and make sure that's on. Okay. Thank you. All right. Dave is dealing with it. He's living He's a nomad. So he's making moves all over the place. But interesting, he played this week at Joshua Tree. I heard about that venue out there, and I actually saw about that show. It's good that everybody's working as much as they can out there. There's a lot of shows. I heard Bon Jovi played this afternoon on the radio. You can tune in to radio.com and hear Bon Jovi play live. That's the way we do it here. Dave, is that better?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that sounds clear now.
That's good. All right. So my last question was, when did you go to Peru? Was that 2012?
2014.
And how long were you there?
It was probably no more than a week and a half, but
so you went down on an ayahuasca retreat, I guess is what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
Was that your first time experimenting with ayahuasca?
Yes. It was something like a lot of us, you may encounter different psychedelics or different things you can fuse into your life or hanging out with friends. But for me, that medicine wasn't one I would Google about. I wanted to go be part of something with a well-held container. Love you guys. Aloha.
A well-held container. So you're talking about your past usage of psychedelics, you mean, right?
No, this was referring to the choice to go to Peru specifically.
Gotcha.
There's a container when you have trained professional healers and people working with the medicine and holding down the space. You're not somewhere where your car alarm's going to go off or you're going to have a distract. You're down in the natural jungle with people holding the vibration for you. So with that medicine, that's a serious plus. I think it's a privilege to be able to go down there and get with the program. Yeah, well,
it's amazing that you really could go up the Topanga Canyon almost any night of the week and find an ayahuasca ceremony going on. So it's crossed the shores. I mean, the vine grows here also in California, if I'm not mistaken. I believe.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your revelation?
Well, basically, I was just shown enough where I could no longer in good conscience be a spectator to what we're all a part of right now in our species history. I was very clearly able to experience our impact on the earth. I was able to experience the future with increased population, and I was also able to experience a sentience in the actual energies of the planet that are a part of us and we're a part of it. And I think the biggest reason we're gulping down antidepressants and having these poor fellas represent us like they have been this week on TV, our potential world leaders, I don't think it's their fault, man. I think the truth of our species, the truth of our connection to the earth and to spirit and to the heavens is so profound that to cut ourselves off from it is a natural depressant. And I think there's an awakening happening. I think you could look at the calendars of the Maya, the Hopi, the Vedas. A lot of cosmological systems are pointing to this being an invitation for us. All of the cataclysms might be an invitation to step into our own authority in relations to the cosmos and the earth.
But I know McKenna talked about the end of the novel. He talked about the end of novelty, which wasn't, was one of the things McKenna talks about. I don't know how much McKenna you read or how steeped you are.
I liked Food of the Gods. I was in a band called Beachwood Sparks that toured around, and we listened to that on tape. Pretty sure that was the band I did that in. Might have been All Night Radio, but when you're on tour, you get a chance to listen to stuff, and we heard him. Getting into his voice and his ways is fun, and Food of the Gods is a lot of fun.
It's an amazing book. It's probably one of the greatest books I ever read about the psychedelic experience, and also about all the different substances that have come into our world, that from chocolate to tobacco to cannabis to psilocybin. It's just amazing. And his original thing on going down to the Amazon was to actually find the vine, right? I mean, in that book, and then he got distracted by the psilocybin. And what's your, like, people talk about ayahuasca, because you definitely need to have the setting and someone there to guide you. With normal psychedelics, like when you eat mushrooms with your friends or you eat a hit of ass with your friends, it's not really that same, you know what I'm saying? What would you say the difference is between the psilocybin space and the vine?
Well, that's a wonderful question. And if anybody hasn't worked with those medicines, the my descriptions might be, informing, but they have so much to them. Hopefully, you've tried some mushrooms at least.
Oh yeah.
There, I said it. I don't mean Mr. Kravitz, but everybody. But listen, these are being decriminalized as we speak. There's some eruption around plants. We have beautiful people in prison because they were growing plants. And so there's a bit of a stigma to having these babies help us. But I think both medicines in their place can completely support and transform somebody's deal. In the case of ayahuasca, I would call it sentient, extremely gifted and benevolent medicine that has a living intelligence and a profound connection between the worlds of spirit and the world we live in, and many things in between, including nonlinear time. And people could sit for ceremonies one after the next, and they're no two alike. Sometimes the things that you think would be what you're in there for, like having amazing experiences flying, turning into an animal, those things actually, by the end of the next day, that's not even what you're the most excited about, because you may have had a very profound breakthrough. I had several that were more about living better in this world than about, man, I rode the snake and I flew. All those things can happen. But the real deal, and a lot of what the teachers will tell you, is that the ceremony really starts when you leave the medicine hut and you go back to your life, because your life starts to unpack in a different way. And I've seen so much growth and healing and transformation. I've always seen that through psychedelics and music. I went to dead shows as a young man, and I've always been able to get around. But this sitting in a container like that with Icaros being sung, which is music that really activates the medicine, and the people sitting there purposefully to allow and support each other's process, creates some pretty amazing action, man. It takes you into the mystery school element of being alive. But the best news for me personally, like I said, I think already, was, as much as that's the coolest shit about it, pardon my French, really, I think about being human and being able to honor the wounds that we all carry, and being able to support. I had a fellow who had been in Iraq, veteran, who was traumatized, and he came away with an incredible experience that allowed him to move on. I've just seen things, even though I've had these breakthroughs where I just can't believe it. I've seen things for other people that made me happy. Being in those ceremony environments made me feel like I was kind of like part of the light revolution, because we're needing to clear trauma, we're needing to support and circle up. And like you were saying about the debates, those fellows can't really represent us. And to believe that that is who we are is a tragic mistake at the dawn of time that we're in. I think the promise of who we are is what's really happening. And it's going to take a while for that to make it from an idea to a reality. And, we may have a rocky road, Mr. Kravitz, but it's the only game in town is to ride the love wave and to get with healing and helping others heal. And last thing on this, I know it's a little soapboxy, but really the only way, that's one thing the medicine showed me, is it, like Bob Marley said, the meanest man you ever did see was a little baby. Like, we can't get ourselves hung up vibrationally in taking a side and judging and being angry and feeling triggered by the other things that are happening right now. We have to be able to feel the unconditional love. Like, the sun doesn't only shine on us.
And that's how we got to get out of this mess, is we really have to hold the journey of the other people that we may not agree with in the highest respect and regard for their own time on the planet. That to me is the best I think I could summarize what I came away from the jungle with.
And you obviously held on to it for quite a while. Have you re-upped? I mean, how often do you go into that land?
Well, I haven't. I noticed your question, and I think I'll be candid with you because I think it's a reality of our culture. But when I got home, I didn't work with that medicine. But after a while, I did kind of put my ear to the ground, and I found some ways to participate, and I did. I did for maybe between 2 and 3 years. I found ways to be part and sit regularly, and I was sure that was, and it may be someday it will be, but after a period, I feel like I got my medicine, and there's other ways that I'm working now to be with the world, but medicines are always going to be like in my highest pantheon of allies and references, because they give you such benevolent wisdom that, we're not islands, we're co-creating and coexisting consciously or unconsciously. So these plants really help you tune into that, and they give us our true humanity back. That's the gift there.
What about
And so
I have so many questions, but it's a different day and age now, and you talked about that a little bit earlier, that now psychedelics are considered medicine, where they're getting legalized in Colorado and in different parts of California, where ketamine is now a therapeutic drug that you can get almost anywhere, I believe, in the United States, with if you have the psychotherapist prescribe it for you and you do your first couple doses with the psychotherapist, then you get your ketamine and you can, it's been very effective. All these things that were illegal for so long now are coming in, and people, I have so many friends that are microdosing, and I have so many friends that are involved that have never really gone into this direction before. So you see them coming, all these different things coming in. What do you think that's telling? There's your lizard. What is that telling you about our society and where we are now? That we definitely need this more than anything. I've read about the increase in people using LSD since COVID pandemic started and things like that. Psychedelics are in fashion, and people are not afraid to talk about it. There was a documentary on YouTube where everybody talked about their acid trips and stuff like that. It's now in vogue. It's kind of like people are using it, right?
Yeah, that's wonderful, Jeff, and I'm on board, man. I feel like my own area of interest is, I don't know about you. I was just at a breakfast table with 4 people, and all of our immediate relatives were or had supported Trump. And I think I've spent a lot of years kind of thinking how to go back and how to relate to people who aren't breaking into this wave, because it's almost like the medicine that is reaching people is doing great work and people are really benefiting. And I think it's helping a lot. And for my own deal, it's like, who was it, man? Maybe it was Ram Dass, right? Who said, "Oh, if you're spiritual, go home for Thanksgiving." See how that works. I think, I think for me, like, I got to go so far into Magic Town that my own interest is like, how can I just have a conversation with anybody? Not that I'm gonna pretend to be straight, and like, oh, I'm a sober, clean guy. No, but I want to be able to relate to people. I feel like that's my own, to use the word medicine again. It's medicine for me to learn how to be with anybody, because I don't know about you and some of their listeners, but being countercultural, it's a badge of honor, but sometimes I have shied away from a lot of people just based on the identifiers. When you see people who seem really groovy, it's like, all right, that's my family already. But right now, I think we need everybody to be family. And so if we're not supported enough to do that, then we got to work with our communities and people who we trust. But I've had a couple years of healing. And so that's what I'm interested in, is how do we raise the vibration for everybody? And these medicines you're mentioning, God love them. I've had my entire adult life has been the best because of all of those.
Well,
I've
yeah,
had so
we have a
much
lot
fun.
of fun. And how about the chemicals like the Shulgin, the Shulgins, the 5-MeOs, and the the 2CBs and stuff like that? Have you gone to the chemicals, or you're more of a plant guy? Or
I've had the chemicals and been astonished and very happy about a lot of things. I'm not anti-synthetic, but I've had some incredible experiences with naturally occurring medicines, and yeah, there's a bit of a line there, but it has a lot to do now with set and setting. I've had the time where I was the guy, like the only person, kind of in a trippy state,
Mhm.
and I've had some wild times like that, and now it's a little in and out, but I tend to still hang around with people. I've got good friends up in the north, like kind of deadhead land up there north of the San Francisco. And I've got friends around who I see them and they see me, and I think we keep the voltage pretty nice,
You keep it high. So
Yeah.
I want to talk about your music, because in 2009 you released a record, and doing my due diligence, I found a special. Is that right? Do I got that right?
Yeah. Espacio Especial. That's a nice project.
And so the one thing I noticed about that is you recording the sounds of nature and then playing it with them, which I thought was a brilliant idea, and definitely came from a psychedelic state, because it's just such a natural thing, which I really enjoyed it, and incredibly easy to listen to when you're just like hanging out. Your first record was very, I would say, formulaic, in that the songs have a basis, a chorus, a verse. The instrumentation seems very straightforward. Your new piece, Speak of Love, is so fucking trippy that I was like, whoa, and it is all over the place musically. So talk about this piece of music and how it came to be.
Well, I got back from the jungle and I had arrangements with my friends Britt and Toast Eric, who is the head of Spiritual Pajamas Records in North Central Cali near Big Sur, Santa Cruz. And so it was time to make the music. I had some little snippets I loved. And the first thing, we booked a session. I had my friend Kurt Vile come in San Francisco. He's one of my fave musicians and he's a good friend. So we recorded. Then it took a while. I took those recordings home and I built on it. And the 4 songs to me started to feel like, if you held up a little prism, there's some ideas about love. In the case of this EP, there's some ideas also about some call to action stuff, some being of service type of music, which took me a minute to feel like I was like, am I on a soapbox? Is this just a bummer to listen to? Because no one likes to be told what to do. Just like you were like, hey, everyone's here. They love coming to hang with me. I'm here to distract. I'm here to let you have some space. But this particular EP, coming home with, like I told you, coming home, seeing what I'd seen, like I couldn't just sit around. So a lot of this music does have some messages and some energy that came from basically agreeing to listen to the earth and to be part of the people who are going to use their time here on the earth to make things better. And also, it's easy to be comfortable and to go to sleep because it's almost too painful to absorb our actual impact on things. But if you start to kind of fall in with the right people, it doesn't have to feel like eating a giant uncooked piece of broccoli. No offense to broccoli, but the point is, like, we're throwing the better party. Your body, your mind, your spirit all comes to life when you're tied into the earth and you're with people and you're actually starting to do something that you know is positive and gonna help the world. And so this EP's got some of that, but I did put some other energies in there. The second song, Ocean Eyes, is more of a story about a love affair I had and how the breakup crushed my soul and led to better things. And then the song Rivers of Love also is kind of like lo-fi indie pop psych music that I like a lot. It's a tribute to that. I made it all at home with a little keyboard. But Speak of Love and Endangered Species is message music, you know. And definitely taking courage from Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder and Gil Scott-Heron, and like spiritual jazz like Sun Ra and Pharoah Sanders, and like 70s Beach Boys, you know, like when they were getting super eco.
That's beautiful. I mean, I found it so intriguing. And where's your sense of form coming for the songs? Because it's not your standard chorus, verse, you know, verse, verse, chorus, verse, bridge, back to the chorus. You know, I don't really see that. It's not in there, right? Or am I missing it?
No, sometimes I feel bad. I got musicians playing with me now, and a lot of those songs come out fully formed. I have a new album coming together, and all that weird stuff it's like a roadmap. I already know it. So I like to think that maybe there's a little bit of a debt to some of the heady jazz of Northern California, like the hippie jazz, the blues for Allah, the Charles Lloyd, you know, like it gets a little bit of fusion and prog and organic feels. So it's not totally random, but I'm sort of copying to letting these songs be that way, and not, like you said, that my last solo record was more structured. It was a different thing, you know. But I've got a lot more music like this now it's arranged and composed, and you know, when you hear the next music, it'll inform this and start to put a piece together, just like we do. We find records that we love from the past and we can just check it all out. But with me, it's like you can't binge watch it. I'm still making it.
Well, yeah, and also this is your growth as an artist too. I mean, you can see in the last album you're trying to make something palatable that most rock fans could put in and be like, this is an album, you know. And now you're just like, I could tell you're making it for yourself, and everybody else is going to follow along. Am I right in that analysis?
Yeah, I hope we can all come to the same party.
In the same state of mind.
Well, bring all those states, but you know, I hope if anyone gets to check out the music, they like it. And there's always music, you know. I've been studying sound healing as well, and just being present. Just being present right now can be tough. You know, we had the fires. We've got the crazy stuff on TV. Seems like intolerance and supremacy is being encouraged. And like, you know, I was telling my mom, she came to the desert to the show. I was like, I love our country, Mom. Like, this is hard. I just feel like weird. So
it's strange. We're in strange times.
Yeah. So,
and it's kind of forcing. Do you find it forcing more creativity out of you?
Yeah, and creativity to a purpose, and also, right, appreciating the people in your life. Like, and if you're out there and you're like, the people in my life totally bum me out, well, that's still helpful. That's a start. But hopefully you can find support if you need it. That's what part of this is. There's community of us who are all looking out for each other more than we used to a year ago.
You know, it's created a whole, it's uprooted our entire way of life as artists and musicians, photographers, you know, the ability to be social, because we're in very social jobs. I mean, being a musician, you're out playing gigs. There's thousands of people. I saw you on stage at Coachella with Kurt Vile. You know, you're playing to 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people easy out there, right? Woo! But I mean, and now all of that has kind of changed. You played a gig this weekend where it was limited the amount of people could come in, and you're going to have more people watch it after the fact than actually were there live, which is kind of strange too. I mean, we're in this whole different upside down, but it's forced creativity out of all of us to step up in these times and bring our art and change art to reflect it. What are you hoping Speak of Love tells the people?
That it's okay to have a social conscience right now, and that it's okay to be confused, but to look at the big picture. The best advice I've heard is that we're awakening and we're invited to our natural birthright, which is greatness and divinity and a higher level of love. And, you know, like, To use a quick sports analogy, you know, in the football games, like there's a dude, he's got the ball there, and then he dives in holding the ball, and then there's a pile of humans. It's a total just mess. You're like, oh my God. And then you look and the ball's like he held it and it's like touching the line. I feel like that might be what's happening. Like you might see a lot of spilled milk here, you know, and then you might see that the baby hasn't been thrown out with the bath. And that's what I'm hoping right now, is that it's not too late. It's not the end of the world. It's our time to come of age. You know, the Depression, World War II, other generations have these events that aren't what you might like, but they make the most of it, and they grow from that. And I think our art will improve, and I think our actual happiness will improve regardless of the political election, because we'll start to know who we are in spite of that narrative. And I hope that we find the most peaceful way to embrace the whole story and take that ride.
Well, it doesn't seem like it. It seems like everybody's trying to light the fucking powder keg right now and set everybody on fire. I've never seen anything so incendiary, right, in my entire life. The embracing of hate and division, and it's just mind-boggling to me. You know, I'm like, every day I'm flabbergasted. I'm flabbergasted that you can't let someone else have their say. Like you and I are having a conversation. You say, you talk, I talk, and that's the way it needs to be. We need to listen to each other and hear what we have to say. That's the most important thing. And for me, I go into watching anything, debate, a movie, I want to hear what people are talking about. I don't want to hear somebody talking on top. So it's just kind of crazy where we are and how energy is being fired around and how divisive it is, even amongst our own families, where, like you said, some people at the table, their families are voting for Trump. And that's something we have to accept, that people are going to have different opinions. It doesn't mean we don't love our family. It just means we're not happy with their judgment.
Yeah.
And it's a lot worse if you have to live under the roof with them every day. But if you get to have your own place and get away, it's not so bad, I guess.
Yeah, man, totally. And that's the thing, you know, is we're more important than it may appear. How we, what kind of space we can hold for everybody, how we comport ourselves right now, will have a bigger effect on the collective. Like, if you're able to hold a good vibration of love for this situation, you're going to go into a supermarket and you'll help someone else be less stressed. We're really energetic creatures, a lot like ants. Our antennas are always up. Most of us are pretty fried from not being able to go out and having these gadgets and 5G. And it's just like, there's so many things that it's really important to nurture ourselves and to value just how important it is to hold a groovy line right now. Like, it's pretty critical not to give in and think there aren't billions of us who want to live in peace and allow the others the same. There's billions of us who want that. But like you said, for me, I don't know if you can change the government. For me, you allow it to run in parallel, but we're going to do the lifting. Kind of like the end of Finding Nemo. The fish all swim together and they get out of the net.
Did you ever think about leaving the country? Because I've thought about that in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I think I've been blessed enough to where, like I said, I'm learning how to hold a peaceful vibe, and I want to be present for that. And like, I love California too. It's the coolest place to live. And I mean, listen, if it gets really bad to where you did have to do that, no problems. But for me, it's not. We're not there yet.
Yeah, I hope not. Well, so what does the future hold? What do you got planned? Are you going to play some of this music live? You're going to record more?
Yeah, got a new band, Farmer Dave and the Wizards of the West, FD Wow, and made a record that's going to be coming out. There's a single coming out in November, and then it's coming out beginning of the year, and then getting ready to record a second album with a new lineup. And yeah, aside from that,
and playing with Chris and anywhere else you could pick up a gig, I'm sure, in the meantime.
Yeah.
Because playing live, let's face it, playing live is kind of what we all miss, right? Going to shows and watching them and playing. Do you have any other shows, anything else planned besides what you did this past weekend?
No, I don't have, there isn't a next concert. I think that it's been a treat to be able to do some of these and and as things evolve, I'm sure we'll find some more ways to play, you know. But for now, there's a lot of life to be lived, and I hope everybody's doing well and find something to stay positive with, and don't get taken down by the rap that's coming out. The people who are the most optimistic say it's coming out to be witnessed and cleared. You know,
Well, there is a lot of trash we need to clear out that would have just gone under the carpet. So I agree. Let me ask you about your hot nuts. You still doing the nuts?
I think it's time to do a fresh batch, man. Yeah, I have the family recipe for habanero roasted almonds, and I've worked with some beautiful growers of cannabis to make infusions of oil, and it's a tasty snack. I've slowed down on that since the pandemic, and it's starting to feel better to make them again. And at the moment, they're not public, but what I will do is make private batches, kind of get my mojo together, and see how the legality is flowing. There's some very friendly dispensaries, and it's a nice way to participate in the world.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
nice
there's
to,
a whole
yeah.
black LA black market is so ripe right now. It's unbelievable. I mean, I got it that the legal market exists and that's the way it should go, but it's been a true godsend to a lot of different products because of the rules. 10 milligrams of product, each thing has to be separated. That's not good for nuts, right?
No, that that's the same as wearing too tight of pants.
I love it. Farmer Dave, I really look forward for us to have a little time in person.
Yeah,
soon.
I
And
love that.
are you in Venice? Where are you?
I'm near Venice, yeah, over by Culver City and Mar Vista, and just want to say big shout out to our friends Michelle August and Kevin Calabro for bringing us together to collaborate.
Collaborate. I like that very much. There's Michelle, the hot
Whoop,
nuts.
whoop, whoop.
They're
Raise the roof.
delicious. Through the roof. Thanks, Farmer Dave. We look forward. Everybody got to check out this music. It's absolutely incredible. Tell people where they can get it. Because I noticed it's not on Spotify yet. Is it coming on Spotify?
Tomorrow.
Good.
But yeah, there's CDs available. It's a Farmer Dave Scher Bandcamp. And also, if you had any interest from what we've talked about out there, please feel free to communicate with me in any way. I'm available. You can write me.
Great. Thanks, Farmer Dave. Thanks for being accessible, and thanks for your talent. I appreciate it.
All right. Yeah. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you. There you go. Farmer Dave Scher. What a character. I mean, I just loved the vibe, what he had to say. It's nice to talk to an artist that's in touch, that's reaching out to people and trying to heal people with music and music about love. I mean, when you hear Speak of Love, I got Kevin sent me a little clip of it. So I was able to listen to the 4 songs on the EP, and quite a treat. I wanted to tell you a couple things about cannabis. And one is that some folks out of Colorado are going to be working with Joe Biden's campaign to make an announcement on October 14th about his policy for cannabis. So we're going to tune in for that. That is going to be absolutely incredible. We're finally going to get some cohesive word from our hopefully new president about his policy of cannabis and to unite the vote, because it's one thing we have to do out there is unite the vote. Solo pipe, Venice. I know Farmer Dave would love a solo pipe, so definitely sending one of those. And the Asher's chocolate bars, the 420 live bars. I had one here the other day. I started eating it. I'm like, I better take this home, and I think it's gone. I have another one at home I'm going to bring in. Absolutely incredible potato chips, pretzels, raisins, mini M&Ms, delicious milk chocolate, coconut flakes, and CBD in this 8-ounce bar. It is big, fat, delicious, chunky. Once you open it, the whole thing disappears. You can get it. You spend $75 at Asher. They give you 20% off your order, and they'll throw the bar in the bag when they see the 420 live code. Democracy Comes Alive. Our friends yesterday, Kunj and Dave, their new show, Keep Your Mind in Tune, are important. The banners we have that go by. Yeah, he's great, right, Kelly? He's a character. Wait till you hear. There you go. Flash forward to the good times. Yes. I think that's the record you turned me on to, Michelle, which was a lot of fun. It was great. I mean, Farmer Dave's only gotten better with age. I loved it. It was a great interview and just great to get into that head. And I love the psychedelic space. As you know, I'm a psychonaut myself. I have no problem. I've learned many things about life and about who I am and who I'm not and what I'm not. I guess the most important thing is not knowing who you are, but what you aren't. And one thing I didn't think I was a webcast host. But you know what? You learn something every day. Tomorrow, we're going to go to Pascal Giacomini's studio with my friend Ben Spivak from Magic and a friend of his. And we're going to jam on this beautiful piece of art called the Queen's Band. Pascal's been a great friend of mine. He does amazing art. So, and this will be the first time that I've played live for you guys. And my fingers have been a little bit tight. The arthritis is I'm getting old. What can I say? I'll be playing guitar. I'll have my like Les Paul. I'm gonna have to have my arm just put in the. I think it was this arm. So he was always like this because he had a problem with his arm. He's like, just put it so I can play guitar. And I'm like, just give me some new fingers here so I'm more limber. Every day coming to you live, 420 Live has been a complete pleasure for me. A total distraction. You guys have completed my ascent into this whole world. I have no plans of stopping. Next week, we're going to talk to Claude Taylor. Claude Taylor worked for Bill Clinton. And if you've seen Mad Dog Pack, that is Claude Taylor's stuff. He has the giant rat that looks like Donald Trump that he takes around and to different rallies and rides around the White House with it and does billboards. I mean, he is an amazing freedom fighter. I want to thank Noel Castler for that idea to talk to Claude. And also next week, everybody's favorite band. We're going to talk to the Geese, the Geeses, the Goose. We're going to talk to the Goose. Our friends at 11 hooked us up to talk to the Goose. So we're going to have the guys from Goose on. I believe I want to tell you exactly when that is because I know one thing. They have a huge, rabid fan base. That's Thursday of next week, the 8th. We're going to have the guys from Goose on. And as you know, I'm always working hard for you to bring you the finest in entertainment of 420 Live so you can kick back with your favorite flavor and, let us take you away. So thank you all. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and happiness, everybody out there. There's the hug. I got the Super Bowl shirt on today because it's a wick away because it's 100 degrees here. And it gets sweaty quick in this little office. So I got to keep myself dry. See, I didn't pit. Isn't that amazing? Finally. It's the only way to do it. All right, guys. Have a good Thursday. We will see you tomorrow, Friday.